there is still a line where you can go like, that's not really barbershop anymore. Although as soon as I say that,
welcome to the Choir Genius channel. I'm Tom Metzger, and this is the 4th episode of my conversation with Justin Miller. And today we're going to talk about barbershop.
barbershop. Yeah.
So, Justin,
Yes.
you and I are both barbershoppers from a long ways back. I know
Barbershop
I started
for
in kind
life.
of the late 80s. You might have started in a similar time frame.
Yeah, my first time attending the international convention was 1985. I was not quite 2 years old.
I beat you by 2 years, but I was 12 in 1983, watching the Side Street Ramblers sing the Cry Tag live. I didn't understand what I was looking at, but everybody went,
You know what I love about that? I know we want to talk about barbershop today, but what I love about that particular tag, if you go back to it, things were much more rigid then in terms of what could be expected. And so, a quartet would sing, they would perform, and then they would kind of break apart from their quartet formation to accept applause. And I think the audience was kind of trained like, oh, they sing and they break and now we applaud. There was kind of that very kind of formal structure. But that was one where that tag was so good, people just exploded. And then if you go back and you listen to the video that the society posted, when they break apart, there's like a second burst of applause.
Right.
It's just one of those crazy, awesome things. Anyway, if you're not a barbershopper, I'm sorry that I made you cry by the Side Street Ramblers. Please.
That's right.
It.
Go check that out. And then you're so right about people getting acclimated into a standard way of doing things. And then when a group violates those expectations, it's like everybody freaks out. The first international convention where I actually competed was in Louisville in 1991 with Sonic Boom, if anybody wants to look that up. And the winners that year, if I'm not mistaken, were the Ritz. And when I saw them come in from one side and then bow all four of them on one side of the mic and then walk to the mic and just start singing. And I think it was He Didn't Say No was the song.
Maybe. Or maybe when the Red Robin comes bobbing along.
Those guys are going to freaking win. I knew it. This is unusual. They're being creative.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's great about the time in which we're living, because there's so much. Any genre can be applied to barbershop. And I know several years ago, maybe not too many, but people within the barbershop community stopped defining barbershop as its own genre. It's like barbershop is an arranging style and a style of singing. So that any genre then could be barbershopped. And so you go to the international contest and you'll get everything from an old standard to R&B, to contemporary pop, to musical theater. You'll hear Jason Robert Brown songs done, and it's just incredibly exciting. And particularly since the kind of Everyone in Harmony movement that allowed women to be members and said, oh, why are we living by the laws of some white dudes from Oklahoma in the 1930s? We're not that weird social club anymore. Let's invite everybody in.
Do you feel like things have changed culturally in the United States since the 1930s?
Probably. Well, let's not go there.
Anyway, I get your point.
In some respects, yes. In other respects, questionable. So anyway, because of that, things are really exciting. And I also think because younger generations are less concerned with the boxes of gender, there also tends to be this youthful energy that is accompanying the Everyone in Harmony movement, and guys and girls and everyone kind of together. Even more so because I know there was a big youth push when I was a teen and in my early 20s, and the environment seems to be even more youthful and energetic than then, which I think is awesome.
Well, that is amazing. I think there's the society has always had to work uphill a little bit, because right from day one they had preservation in their acronym name, right? The Society for the Preservation and Encouragement of Barbershop Quartet Singing in America. That crazy long acronym we always used to go by and call it SPEBSQUISA, and then be told you're not supposed to pronounce that.
Who cares?
And how do you? There's this natural tension between the desire that the people in charge had to preserve and maintain a thing that they really, really loved, and the desire of the rest of the world to do what they want and to sing the music that interests them. And yes, as a recovering music judge, obviously I know that the struggle continues, but we did hear a lot of interesting music in Denver this past year.
Yeah, and I think there still is a line. There are still going to be some people that, even though the musical boundaries of what barbershop can be have been pushed pretty far, there is still a line where you can go like, that's not really barbershop anymore. Although as soon as I say that, I'm reminded of a situation that happened when I was getting my master's degree. So I was getting my master's degree. I was in the concert choir at Portland State University, and Dr. Ethan Sperry is the director there. He's an awesome mentor and conductor and musician. And we were singing oh shoot, I might be getting the nation wrong, but I think it was a folk song from the Philippines. I want to say it's the Philippines, but it could be wrong. But it's somewhere in that part of the world. It's called Leron Leron Sinta. And there's a part of this arrangement of the folk song that the arranger is a guy by the name of Sandra Choi, where it was kind of very lush harmonies. It kind of went from very fast tempo and it slowed down, really lush kind of ballady harmonies in the middle. And Ethan goes, "Justin, this is kind of barbershop, right?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, actually, like, no. Like, in no world is this barbershop as I know it. But from someone on the outside, it absolutely was.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? The definitions do not matter to the average person at all, right? In fact, they
No.
can't tell barbershop from non-barbershop. It's very, very
No,
difficult.
and this moment was explicit in that regard, because it's like, what is he associating with barbershop? The lush harmonies, maybe the manner in which we're tuning the chords or moving from one sound to another, or maybe there's a diction shift that he imagined, because we're no longer worrying about getting everything out, and it became a harmonically driven moment rather
Right.
than a melodic or a rhythmic or a lyrical one. So that I just found that fascinating.
Well, the music has definitely developed. Let me ask you a question. I thought it was really interesting in Denver this year. I remember back in the early days, there were so many people who would come to convention, come to international, not internationals, as some people seem to want to call it. And
Let
just,
people have fun, Tom. Let
yeah,
people have fun.
come on, follow the rules. And they would come just to observe because they were fans of barbershop. And so even if you sang first, there were people there to watch. And this year, when the Summertimers, I sang bass with them and we walked out, we were second. And it's kind of like there was very little participation in that first quarterfinals round. And it occurred to me, yeah, because everybody here is competing. Everybody, almost everybody here is part of an ensemble that's crossing the stage. And that is a big change.
Yeah. Well, there's that, and I don't disagree with that. The other thing that is going on, well, there's a number of things. Things are expensive. The economy, both in the United States and globally, is what it is. It's expensive to go to international. Not everybody's going to have the resources to do that every year. So if you're not, and the webcast is really good. And if you don't want to pay for the webcast, it's going to be on YouTube in 3 months.
There
So
you
there's
go.
there's all these barriers that are preventing people from going, so that what they've done is they've created more events and more competitions to get competitors to go and pay for the registration to make the event self-sustaining. But then what happens? If there are any people that want to go to international just to go, do they want to go on Tuesday through Sunday? No, probably not. Back when I was a kid, and probably for you too, I arrived on Wednesday or Thursday. And there was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday we left Sunday. But nowadays there's stuff happening on Tuesday, and you want people to arrive on Monday. That's ridiculous. So for you, I think, yeah, there was a lot of competitors, but also I would say half the convention had not even arrived in Denver by the time you sang. And then there's the experience that I had with my chorus, Vocal Summit. We competed on Friday. They've split the chorus contest into 2 days, which is asinine. They split the first round of the quartet contest up into 2 days too. That bothers me less, just because you have 6 rounds to like average the score out, versus courses you just have the one shot. And so you're giving a 36-hour difference between chorus one and chorus last chorus, giving them that much more time to compete, giving them differences in audiences. It's just, I don't like that. That being said, we were the last competitor on the first day. We sang, I think, maybe an hour and a half before the start of the AIC show.
What's
So
the AIC show,
the
Justin?
AIC, the Association of International Champions. So like our quartet champions from years gone by, they put on their own show. They perform a little chorus. The quartets that are still active sing. It's a big thing. It's kind of an extra special moment of the convention. So I would say anybody that was getting ready or wanted to have dinner before seeing the AIC show was not in the audience for us, right? So there's
Yeah.
there's a number of these logistical things that for the experience of those that are going to international, it'd be nice if they ironed out because there's too much and it kind of becomes fatiguing.
I mean, God bless Dusty and his efforts to make the whole thing work, but it's probably impossible to make everybody happy.
It's impossible to make everybody happy,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things when in trying to make everybody happy, you make nobody happy.
Yeah. I wonder sometimes whether, as it becomes more expensive and to travel, for example, I know we were paying here from Vancouver, where I live. It was going to be almost $1,000 to go to not Denver, but the previous year, Columbus. Well, somewhere in Ohio,
Yeah,
Cleveland. We were in Cleveland.
Cleveland. Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder. Yeah, it's hard to get there. So does that drive more to the local focus, right? Do people then expand their participation in their local area instead of choosing to do that? I mean, I think that would be an amazing outcome. I hope that is what happens.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a good city because they're based on the population base of both of our countries. They tends to be more east, and so a lot of people could drive, even if you're in the Toronto area. That's probably not a too far of a drive from like Toronto to say from to Cleveland. But yeah, I mean, it really. I would really love to see more of the large media markets on our continent, Los Angeles, New York, Vancouver, Toronto, Atlanta, Chicago, Washington D.C. All these places form their larger ecosystems, and in some cases that's happening. Like the Alexandria, Virginia chapter has multiple ensembles under their umbrella, becoming not just a barbershop chorus, but a larger arts organization. It would really be cool to see all that type of thing happen all throughout the world, because ultimately the Barbershop Harmony Society is responsible for the longevity of the Barbershop Harmony Society. And they're not necessarily, or at least, I mean, there's new leadership, so things might change.
Yeah, very true.
They're not necessarily influencing individual chapters to say, hey, for the greater good, can you do this thing? Everyone's kind of in their own world trying to do what's best. And I wish, as a chapter leader within the Barbershop Harmony Society, if there was kind of like, hey, we're all going to do this one thing to help the marketing, to help the brand recognition of barbershop globally, in the United States and Canada, wherever, rather than just, hey, you guys just put on your shows and do singing Valentines and like there could be so much more that we do musically, culturally, marketing, administratively. Because I'm preaching the choir here with you, Tom, but it's like, this is cool. And we know that music and barbershop can change lives, can save lives. And there's, I just think there's much more opportunity for that type of thing. Can I pivot? I have something I want to say.
Pivot, please.
So I've been, and this is going to come out of left field, but, I enjoy professional wrestling. I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed. I'm a little ashamed to say it. But I used to, like, back in the day when I was a kid, I used to really watch it, really enjoy it. And the past couple of years, something popped up on YouTube or Instagram, and I clicked it, and it changed my algorithm a bit and started showing me more wrestling. And so I clicked more, and so my algorithm changed and showed me more, and then till eventually, like my wife catches me watching like WrestleMania,
Right.
So and then fast forward, because she catches me watching WrestleMania, she buys me tickets to go with my son to see SmackDown at the Moda Center in Portland, and so, but anyway, the reason I wanted to bring that up is I think there's some things about the showmanship and the marketing of something spectacular like that that we could use. And here's what I mean. We are all about contests, right? There's so much of our organizations and our culture that's who's going to win the chorus contest, who's going to win the quartet contest. Oh, I love Vocal Spectrum because they've won it. Da, 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 da. It's all about chasing this prize, which the rest of the world doesn't care about. We care about it, but the rest of the world, it doesn't mean anything. WrestleMania wrestling has this vocabulary of what's called being over. So like they have a star that's over. They're popular with the crowd.
Okay.
They might have another wrestler that's not over. They try to get them popular, but the crowd just doesn't bite. I think we all know of quartets, both modern day and in the past, that maybe got high scored, maybe they'd even won, but they weren't over. The crowd could care less.
I'm definitely not going to mention names at this point.
Right. Conversely, and I think we can name names of quartets that maybe have not been rewarded in contest that are absolutely over. Newfangled Four comes to mind. Yes, they got fifth place, but this last year they dropped back in placement. But they are absolutely over. They come out on stage and the audience goes crazy.
And they have a huge social media following.
They have a massive social media following. When I taught high school, and anytime a student was like found out about the barbershop, which I didn't like broadcast it, I mentioned it now and then, without fail, who would they mention? They would mention the Newfangled Four. Mr. Miller, you've heard the Newfangled Four? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I met Joey Buss when he was 16 years old when he joined the Westminster Chorus. I know those guys. They are so over. Smoke Ring is another, a little bit controversial, but for the people that love them, they love them. I would love to see us shift attention away from what the judges give value to, and I'm not arguing that the judges get it wrong, because I think they get it right. They have criteria in which they judge against. They judge technically, musical acuity, all sorts of things. The judges get it right, but just because the judges get it right doesn't mean the audience likes a quartet.
Yeah.
And just because a judge says, you know what, they're not technically as accurate as this good, doesn't mean the audience doesn't love them. So what I would love to see from our community is when there is a group that is over, whether they, to use that wrestling term, whether they are contest successful or not, we need to push them, which is another wrestling term. We gotta strap a rocket to their back and push them to the moon. We gotta get them out of
and it would be the
social...
society who did that, basically.
What was that?
It would be the society who would do that.
I don't trust them.
You don't? Okay. Well, again, new leadership. You don't know.
I don't know, but I don't. Now there's some people that I do trust within the organization. I'm talking collectively. I don't trust them to be like, you know what? This is fire, and we need to launch it.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a number of instances where there's been some cool things, and they haven't really taken advantage of that, because again, their day-to-day operations are about day-to-day operations. It's about the finances. It's about membership. It's about collecting dues. It's about putting on international. It's about putting on midwinter. It's about these types of things. And historically, and when I say I don't trust them, I mean historically. There's people there that are awesome. So I don't mean to undermine that. But like historically, they've not been a good job at marketing. They've not been a good job at like, this is something that's really cool that needs to be broadcast nationwide. They tend to be kind of like, oh, well, we're just the Barbershop Harmony Society. Who's going to listen to us? The answer is everybody, if you're passionate about it. Going back to another video, like if you're passionate about it, it's not hard to sell stuff. But you gotta try. You gotta do more than just putting a little clip on YouTube. You know?
Yeah, I don't disagree. Here, let's pivot one more time here. How long, since we're in the Everyone in Harmony era now, until we have a mixed or female quartet champion joining the Association of International Champions?
I mean, how long is it going to be?
Well, we've had a female quartet in the top 5.
Yeah, we've had a couple. And we have a mixed quartet. We have 2 mixed quartets in the top 10 this last year. I think one of them was 6th. I want to say Sunday Night Social was 6th. Maybe not.
They did a great job. So did Smoke Ring.
Yeah, so does Smoke Ring. So I still think it's going to be some time.
And why do you think that?
And by time, I don't mean like 10 to 15 years, but it's probably gonna be at least 5. Now, uh, the most recent female medalist GQ just got a new bass,
Yeah, a
and this
trainer,
last
I
international
believe.
was their first time with that. So they could ratchet up fairly quickly because of that personnel change. That kind of tends to happen, right? It's like success, success, success. Oh, person changes, and then there's kind of like a gear shift before they continue to accelerate. So that could happen. Um, but I feel like there's still a lot of male or kind of bass clef quartets that are in the hunt, that it's hard for me to see um, a female quartet um, hurdling them.
Sure, sure. Well, you could be right, Justin. Time will tell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I would love to see it. Um, it's just it's hard, you know. And I don't want to say like there isn't kind of a patriarchy thing there, but that could still be there of just the history of the society, the Barbershop Harmony Society, and how we hear things ring a certain way and we reward things that ring a certain way. And it might just take a little bit of time to acknowledge that just because it's ringing in a different register doesn't mean it's less good. I mean, if I'm being honest, from my vantage being in Denver, sitting in the audience, I thought that GQ should have placed higher.
Okay.
Like I would have placed them higher in my own personal, Monday morning quarterbacking ranking. But we'll see. Time will tell. Who else will come up? One of the things that I would love to see more of is I think GQ and the ladies, they kind of hopped on the bandwagon very quickly and like, yes, everyone in Harmony, we want to join BHS. And there hasn't necessarily been a similar influx of other female only quartets. There have been some mixed quartets, but I would really love to see a day when it was really, really more equitable, because I think the more parity we have, the more diversity we have, is going to just continue to level up the product. Going back to brand recognition and marketing, the more voices we have out there, the more quality of groups we have there, the easier it is going to be for someone to then see a GQ, to see a Newfangled 4, to see a Smoke Ring, and the quartet, they're then inspired by them to help us propel this art form even further.
This was the episode 4 of my conversation with Justin Miller, and if you enjoyed that, please give the video a like, and if you want to see more like that, subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon. Thank you so much.